So I'm in Zion National Park in southern Utah. And I'm going to deal with Gabriella here. She wants to run off. She wants to run off, of course. But I'm sure there's a law about dogs in national parks. There she is, being natural in a national park. Come on, Gab. Zion is Zion. It's an amazing place. And I have to keep Gabby on a leash because that's the law. And that brings up the topic. How do we not become subjugated to the military, the police, the park ranger? I was just to make fun of it. You know, the park ranger, you're supposed to, it's a good shot of her. Keep us safe out here. Is there a rock out of place? Is there a cloud that shouldn't be there? Is there a tree growing the wrong way, you know? So I just had an insight going through the tunnel here at Zion. And during the summer season, it's so busy here that you have to park your car. I'm not going all the way in today. And you have to take shuttle buses and so forth. But here, Zion is really an amazing, gorgeous, gorgeous place. You got to keep leash on your dog. You know, we've leashed nature, and you have to have a leash according to the park rules, right? So how do we not get subject to these rules? In other words, when do our protect and serve cops and military become our oppressors? What's that fine line when it shifts into fascist control or communist control or liberal control or conservative control? Same shit, by the way. It's the same level of control, you know. Actually, political, yeah, let's not go there. Anyway, so this is how you do it. You are in charge if you're participating in the American experiment. Let's assume you are, or freedom democracies. Then you are, and if you're a taxpayer and actually playing along, you know, and you're contributing, you want to be part of the experiment, then you have the right. Zion National Park is ours. It's ours. We own it. Thank you, Park Service Ranger. You do work for us. So I'm in charge in that situation. Remember that. So the police serve you. Now you treat them respectfully. If you shove it in their face, and you know, like some organizations are doing, like Cop Block or Cop Watch or something, if you have a judgment and a beef to pick with them, or you know, you want to get them and show them how ridiculous they are, then you'll create that. So that's not healthy. You'll just create suicide by cop if you push it at that level. So you have to make sure that you have your own inner hatred, anger, militia, martial, wanting to hurt. You need to make sure that inside you, I'm a little distracted with Gabby, cleared out, so that you are pure, you are the middle path, you are the Buddhist path, you are allowing for a neutral, civil disobedience, civil, strong center. Then you are in charge. We are in charge of the government, of the people, by the people, for the people. And these parks are ours, right? But you do it respectfully and civilly. You don't shove it in their faces. Because that's where the flip comes. We feel they're servile to us. You're our servants. Well, then it flips into the TSA at the airport that can torture you, basically, harassing you at the airport. So if you have that in you, then it will show up outside of you in the form of the TSA. And then you are in charge. I am in charge. This is the polarity thing about this authority, sovereignty, and so forth. and then the other side of it is, I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge. And that's when you yield to the Tao, to God, to Source. You yield to the large Source. So you are not in charge of. That's where you do the surrender. That's where you do the not my will, but thy will. So there's two sides to this polarity. I am in charge. No other human enslaves me. I am a sovereign free citizen. I am a libertarian. I am a liberal, meaning libertine, right? And this is why we have such trouble with it over the centuries. And then you are not in charge when it comes to the grandeur of nature. You are not in charge of this. You can't create this. This takes millions of years to create, well, dogs and or this amazing nature. So get it. We're both, I'm in charge. No fear of the park ranger or the cops. I'm agreeing to play along with the leash law with Gabby, although if I tell you the truth, we were down the Slot Canyon here and she was off leash and we walked about a half a mile. So, and then I'm not in charge. I surrender, not my will, but thy will. I surrender to the Source, to the Tao, to real God, and allow thy will, not my will. That's the freedom path. That's the middle path that Buddha talks about. Because the wildness and the freeness that is in us, doesn't matter how long the leash is, Gabby doesn't fucking like it. And I don't like it. I'm telling my neighbor in Sedona, we need to inherit Ted Turner's ranch in Montana that's, I don't know, 1 million square miles or something, and create a place called No Leashes. You know? So, see if that makes any sense. This freedom, sovereignty, we have to let go of the martial law, wanting to shove it in their face, wanting to do revolutions back and forth. We're in charge, you're in charge. That's the same thing as the battle of the sexes or Black Lives Matter, you know, that now we're going to be in charge. That's the undercurrent there. See, there's still rage and anger. Martin Luther King doesn't do it that way. He does it, let's heal this. Let's make us all human. But as long as you have the rage underneath, it never works. So, cops are not in charge of me unless I make myself a subject. But you can't have the war in your heart and make that work. So I'm in charge of the park ranger. I'm in charge of the, assuming you're participating and paying some taxes or in a situation where you are participating with the American experiment. Then you agree to participate with it. But then when it comes to Source, the Tao, the thunder, these mountains in Zion, the wild nature, you are not in charge of that, and you surrender. Every teacher teaches that. Okay. Gab, come here. Gabby, come. Come on, darling. This fucking leash is bullshit. Okay. You run around for a minute. So yeah, it fucking sucks. Leashes suck, but you have to earn it. And she's on a trip finally, this little girl, where she's earning some freedom. She's starting to mind me and doing well, and we can cooperate and it works fine. That's the product, that's the end result, that's the love that brings that in. All right. When you walk the middle path. All right. More love. Try to do this Facebook Live out here, but there's no service out here in Zion. Amazing how gorgeous it is. And the fact is, she doesn't run away. She just wants to go that 75 feet. Ultimately, it's stupid. But you got to get rid of the war in your own heart to inherit true freedom. Come on, Gab. You going pee-pees? She's not minding me. Come on, Gabby, come. Gabby, come. That's it. I'm being the police officer. What you finding to eat, darling? All right, much love. More later. Zion, by the way, is an incredible place. It's a little busy in the summer, but even so, it's not too bad today. This is like September 1st. But in the winter, it's pristine and empty, and you can drive all the way up through it. Much love, more later. I fucked the low one. Just got back in the car, and this song's on the radio. That's how my universe works. For sure.